And that, of course, is awkward when you are a Protoss player that relies on surprise, sneaky tactics, and some crazy unit compositions. In the bottom left side of the map, one of the craziest players in the entire world, it is none other than ButAlways. None other than. Nice awkward way of putting that.
And in the top right, in the blue, he's from Onside Gaming. This is Rex.
So from what we've seen from Rex play so far, I would say there's a few characteristics. One is excessive caution. So that normally it would make him look really bad if he was playing greedy defensive stats, right? I think. But he's playing against Haas, ButAlways all the time. And so it ends up being just the perfect amount of defense, right? Speaking of which, there's a forge on the way, Zeph.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see how this goes. I think, yeah, Rex has certainly played a more defensive style. I feel like, or am I thinking of Gogo Joey? Could be. I feel like there was a season where it's like, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit of the old Roach Queen, a few Queen walks and stuff. It didn't really...
No, he was definitely trying that out for a
yeah,
while.
but he seems to have left that idea behind now.
He messes up the pylon. He's on the outside of the cage. But wait. Okay, gets inside. Not bad, not bad. Rex is not pulling a lot of drones. He's just going to go take a base elsewhere. Interesting. Okay, does ButAlways try to cannon the third as well as the big question? Oh no, he traps himself. Oh, this is unfortunate. Oh, ButAlways, this is not as clean as he'd like. At this point, you can actually just defend this by building spines if you want to. There's a Zealot coming as well. Cybercore is already almost finished. ButAlways has a transition behind this. He will put down a few more cannons saying, hey, look, if you let the hatchery finish, I will commit more to it. Cannons do build a lot quicker than spine crawlers, but 4 cannons is a big expense. I think this is maybe an overcommitment. He doesn't know that Rex has that third base down below this. Rex is not going to commit here. He's going to go for a Roach Warren, some Zerglings, getting ready to do a counterattack.
Yeah, bother investing more in that defense when he could have an offense instead. So, ButAlways is actually going to let the last cannons finish, is he? No, okay, let one of them be cancelled. He's going to be able to deal with that Zealot now with all these slowlings getting a nice little surround on that. But with the bit of vision here, he does see the significant amount of lings that were just pumped out from Rex. I'm not sure if he knows about that Roach Warren, but there's the hatchery building down to the more southern position as well, and he's actually going to try and take these out.
Oh, he's even focus firing the cannon a little bit there. Very nicely done by ButAlways, but as that cannon dies, he's got nothing in range of the hatchery. This hatchery will finish. ButAlways does have a Nexus on the way. The Adept shades into the main base. Is it going to get any drones? A few drones would be big there. Adept goes up on in. The Ling's chasing after it. Adept's got to rotate, trying to get around that north side, seeing if he can grab something. But most important is to keep the Adept alive. Just keep this pressure present. Ooh, cannon does save it.
Very nicely done for ButAlways to micro back into the safe range of that cannon. We have the Queen coming down here to pick away at that as the cannon's just shelling away at the lava there. But the Ling's in the main as well, trying to chase out these Adepts. And he's going to try and close in here with the Roaches to try and take this out with the shield battery.
Whoa, Rex!
Oh no, what are you doing?
Rex! Oh my god, he attacked and killed his own egg, and then he attacked his own hatchery. What is going on? Rex with some huge misclicks.
Gosh. That's got to be tilting, making that kind of mistake, but it could have been a lot worse. He could have actually killed it. So now he's going to clean up these Protoss structures. He's got the third base up. He's still dealing with the Adept, which has been quite the annoyance for him. So ButAlways has really made it a rough start for Rex here.
At the end of the day, though, 3 hatcheries are up, Queens are out. You've got Roaches and Lings to dominate the ground. Yeah, there's a Void Ray out, but I would say you've got a much better chance of exploding economically. ButAlways getting ready to take a corner base. And then he's going to go, what, Sky Toss? Or is it going to be a proxy gate in the top? It's always going to be a crazy gamble with ButAlways. Like, he's not going to play a straight up game with you, and that's clever. He's all about tricks and hard swaps this way and that you're not expecting. Now, in the past, we've seen him play crazy things like Colossus Void Ray. Yeah. Right? Like compositions that aren't things you're meant to see because like it gets countered really hard by Vipers and that sort of stuff. He is a little supply blocked on 46, which is a bit of a bummer, but supply blocks for Rex with the Overlord snipe as well. ButAlways still maintains the worker lead, and he does drop a third base.
Yeah, not too much Rex can do about that. I think he has a few units left over, but he needs to defend against the adept harassment and just try and keep pumping out drones to get to a position where he's a little bit happier with his economy. And I think this is actually a nice way for ButAlways to try and kick things off, because if you know Rex is the favored one, then trying to upset his plan early on is maybe a good way to go. So he's just going to try and reestablish a more comfy situation to play from for himself, and that void really just cleaning up the vision here.
I wonder if Bot always goes blink from here and tries to do some sort of mass blink play. He's down a little in the workers, but with the third base coming up, I still feel great about, his tech. He's got +1 on the way, Twilight finished, Lair's only now starting. Rex does have a Roach Roaring up, from the early game, which helps him, but the 2 Void Rays could keep harassing. I wouldn't mind them, diving in the main, picking off a few drones, rotating around and doing that sort of stuff. Rex has pulled every Overlord back, which means he doesn't give away free Overlord kills. It also means he doesn't see these coming until they fly over creep. So they will get in there very quickly. Actually, they could have targeted that Queen potentially, but being cautious for now is ButAlways. He's going to go for some drones.
Queens are going to truck on up that ramp and start poking down these Void Rays. Rex is, as Pig mentioned just before we jumped to the game, really good with his Queens, actually, defending against threats from the air, whether that's a Warp Prism or a Stargate unit. So hopefully he can minimize the damage that he's going to take from this so that he can get his drone count up where it needs to be, especially because ButAlways has that third base now. He's producing probes 3 at a time. These Lings are going to try and find a little opening here. They're not quite that lucky, but we'll pick off at least the Zealot. They might even get the Adept. Yeah, nice. Oh, actually, okay, he gets in.
Yeah, we'll get a full scout. It's Charged Lot Archon by the looks of it for ButAlways. Roaches are great against that, and in general, Rex loves a Roach Ravager Ling Bane style, so unless you're ahead on the economy, this sort of composition, it could fall flat against Rex, right? Rex seems to have the economic advantage now. He's actually way up in supply, adding Queens for the Void Rays and a lot of Roaches on the ground, so feels to me like Rex has got a handle on this game. And ButAlways, obviously, his production's just kicking in, which is why his supply is so far down. So it's not like he's actually as far behind as the supply tells us. There's also Roach supply as well. But it's still a scary position to be in, just because it doesn't look like there's any kill move in the next 2 or 3 minutes. And this is not a super long-term composition for the Protoss either.
No, we're seeing a bunch more Roaches get added on here in just a second. Spire's now on the way with a 4th hatchery. The creep is finally starting to get spread a little bit here too. I mean, given the start of the game, we can forgive him for not having amazing creep spread at this point. He's had other things on his mind, but here comes a bit of an attack from ButAlways. We have the Queens in tow as well to help with the Void Rays, and that's plenty of Roaches, so he does have to get out of there pretty quick.
Roach run by trying to come in for Rex. Has to go around because of the giant gateway wall. Void Rays are going to try and work on these Roaches. Archons turn around and fight on the bridge. Roaches with speed, though, are going to hunt them down. That's a problem. Okay, the Archons get out, and they're losing the Adepts. Not too bad. Deals with the Roaches as well. Spire's almost done. Feels like Rex wants to make a hard right turn into Mass Muta. And what a great play that would be. ButAlways is ahead economically. And going Blink Stalkers, though. He's got a 4th base. I mean, I've been talking a bit of smack on ButAlways macro game, but really, in this matchup, yes, he opens up with weird disruptions. But look at what he's turning it into. A good economy, a 4th, upgrades, Blink. It's something where, for a player who refuses to expand in PvP, his PvZ is very well-rounded.
Yeah, he's found a lot of success with it for sure, but can he have an answer to these meters? We see actually a cannon going up in the back of 1 base. These Void Rays coming forward again. They could deny the creep as well as getting the Queens. They will at least get the Queen there.
Not bad. The Mutas are going to be gathering on the south, I believe. Oh, ground army is actually caught out just below this as well. There's an army in the middle of the map right now. Stalkers. Okay, they see the Roach Ravager. No sign of the Mutas. And that means he's all focused on the front. These Roaches are yelling, distraction, distraction. Look at us. Don't look in your main base. The Mutas are about to give you a big problem, mate.
We do have a cannon in the mineral line there, so he's going to swing around to the 4th base, but the army is too close.
Oh.
Rex is going to take the opportunity to come back in with the Roach Ling Ravager and see how much he can get done. ButAlways is holding on decently, but probes are starting to fall behind this.
Oh, just before Storm was done as well. Perfect timing. If he could have stormed the Roaches and Ravagers, he might have held on even better. As it is, 17 probes go down, ButAlways' 4th base is also under siege. The Mutas have rotated down there. And great defense on the ground for ButAlways, but he loses so much to the mutas that it's a terrible situation to be in. Now, interestingly, Rex is still committing to Roach. He wants to go melee. He wants to go Ravager Ling Bane. It's a great defensive composition, but I actually think he's missed an opportunity to commit to pure Mutalisks here. And there's no way ButAlways is ever going to get anything other than Stalkers up. So I actually think Ling Muta would be super mint. But, oh, these Mutas go down.
Yeah. If he wants to go mutas, he's going to have to restart the flock. He's going to use the roaches here to try and chew a hole in this wall and continue to be a bother to ButAlways as he gets a whole bunch of Lings in the mix too, with that melee upgrade coming in. And the Void Rays are helping out a little bit, but this is actually a lot of Zerg.
The Voids are there, and there's a lot of Archons though on the right side. Remember, Storm's done as well. If he can keep this army alive, I mean, the Voids can do so much here. The Voids are running away right now, but look at this fight for ButAlways. That was spectacular. He shut that army down super hard. And I got a question to swap back into unupgraded Roach Ravagers F. This is what I was saying. Mutaling could keep ButAlways pinned and just always win a base trade, but swapping back into Roaches, similar to his series against Nice, he was adamant about going back to Ravager Ling Bane. Every situation he found himself in, it was always Ravager Ling Bane, even when Nice was turtled up and unbreakable on 4 bases. So I think he might have a little bit of an addiction to that style right now, and that, as the High Templar gather Storm energy, as the Archon count grows, especially if ButAlways could get some maybe Immortals in there, or even just get enough Stalkers, it will be able to defeat this army. The supply is not that different.
He's getting the Bane Nest now too, so yeah, I guess he's kind of sticking with it for the moment. And I was looking at his bank there. He had a good 1,200 gas saved up as that +1 air was finishing too. And I was kind of thinking like, oh, that could have been a flock. But yeah, he's going to keep going with the Ravagers here, trying to get through this wall. Can he get some damage? He gets the Void Rays out of the way. Oh, those storms.
Oh, wow. I mean, Rex is just multitasking over ButAlways right now. ButAlways loses Archons, Void Rays, High Templars, all to Corrosive Bile that he's just sitting in because the Lings and Roaches are in his third. There's Lings in his main. And honestly, the army is so much better for ButAlways, but if he can't micro it, then he will die to Corrosive Bile. Ravagers are the great equalizer when your opponent's screen isn't looking at them, and that's exactly what Rex did here. Just beautiful 3-pronged engagements, and ButAlways could not handle the multitasking of it. Just when ButAlways was about to get to a massively powerful army, he loses every important unit. He's on just Stalkers and Zealots now. He's lost all of those powerful units. There was no answer to the Void Rays whatsoever, and losing those especially was just a huge problem.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. We have the Fleet Beacon coming down here in the back of the main, and Rex has continued to hold down the R button. He's adding some Banelings in now too. Baneling speed's still a ways off, as is the +2 melee, but the creep spread continuing to be pushed forward a little bit here. ButAlways going to try and tame that somewhat, but he's actually going to get sandwiched here if he's not careful. He could lose some of these Stalkers, but he blinks out, and Rex still kind of dominating the map here, but always has snuck something out to the bottom right though.
Yeah, good Zealot run by for ButAlways. His supply looks okay. It's the lack of High Templar in here. No Immortals either to counter the Roach Ravager that gives him problems. I'd like to see those Void Rays not microed on top of the army like this. But oh, so many probes going down in the mineral line. The Archon Stalker is doing all right. Another Void Ray goes down to Corrosive Bile. A massive mistake for ButAlways. 26 probes have gone down. Baneling's clearing the entire third mineral line. The fourth gets cleared by the Roach Ravager. ButAlways losing his economy. He does get in there with some revenge. The Zealots will tear up that drone line, but he's going to lose a lot of Archon Stalkers units chasing this army down in the north. Rex is already almost remaxed, whereas ButAlways is bleeding.
And Rex still has a fair bit of money to play with. These 2 Banes going to come in and just explode maybe on the gas probes. And the amount of workers he's killed is actually a little bit obscene, but always sitting down in the 30s of the worker count. And Rex is continuing to throw stuff at him. He's just massing back up for another round. And ButAlways taking the opportunity to try and make some extra probes, 3 or 4 at a time. But he doesn't have that much of a fighting force left.
Yeah, I mean, losing so many Void Rays to Corrosive Bile there. Rex just showing, I think, the mechanical superiority. That's really what that was. I feel like ButAlways had good strategy, good distractions, disruptions, throwing him off in many different areas. But then we see what a couple months training in Korea full-time with the best of the best does for you. Rex was like, yeah, not the greatest situation. Bam, Ling's in the natural, Ling Roach in the third, Roach Ravager just constantly skirmishing on the front. That's a very intense situation. I'm always amazed when the top Protoss players handle it and make it look kind of easy. We see there, though, ButAlways just struggling to handle fighting in so many areas at once.
Yeah, a bit rough on the multi-prong defense there. So Rex looking good in game number 1. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll head into map number 2. Welcome back, everybody. We are in the playoffs once again for the Taiwanese region. We are kicking off our first best of 5. First map is done with Rex leading 1-0. I'm Zaf from Hindu Pig, and we have one more best of 5 after this as well, which will be a sick PvP. But for now, PvZ fans, let's see how we go on map number 2, because ButAlways not quite able to close it out in the first one.
No, he looked pretty decent, was playing a very good game. I mean, we really thought the Mutaswap was going to be a bit more deadly than it was. It did some good damage. I think most of all, it did clear up all of like the High Templar. They all had to morph into Archons with like the Muta Roach attack. And it just put ButAlways on the back foot and distracted and under a lot of pressure. And my gosh, the follow-up multi-prong was just fantastic for Rex there. ButAlways will be kicking himself a little bit, you know, just little things like not having a unit in the wall or like some Ling Roach getting in the third mineral line. Because once that gets in, it forces you to use so much more attention just to clean that up. And when there's a guy running back and forth dropping biles on you on the front, I mean, definitely a little bit of the Raynor inspiration, I think, there, because Raynor's one of the most annoying player with Ravages. And yeah, he played fantastic. Rex got the win despite a very, very elusive early game. He can have a better early game, you know, shut down the cannon rush, that sort of thing completely from the get-go. We may see him start to dominate.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He looked pretty good at some moments in that game, but Rex seems to know his weakness, turned up the heat, and ButAlways, at least in that game, couldn't quite handle it. So looking forward to seeing what else he has in store for Rex, though, because as we've spoken about, he can do some wacky builds and put the pressure back on the Zerg player to be reacting to him. So let's see how we go. This is the man himself in the bottom right in the red. He is our Protoss player looking for a win here to even up the score. It is ButAlways.
And his opponent in the top left side of the map, representing Onside Gaming, it's Rex.
And a little fun fact for those of you, if you have only just sort of started learning about who ButAlways is, he actually played in the Oceania region once upon a time for a couple of seasons, and he bopped probe, I think, and risky as well to take the qualification spot. So he's definitely had some experience in these playoffs and taken out the top seed for some of these international events. So hopefully he can find a bit of success here as well.
Been knocking on the door a little bit with Haas, Nice, Rex up there. You know, he's been top 3 before, so it's definitely not a foregone conclusion that Rex takes them out, whereas Nice and Haas historically do, you know, very, very well against him. Nice Proparas in the main base there. And this is Cosmic Sapphire, Rex's map pick, so would have liked to see ButAlways take that last map out, of course, knowing that nice little cannon spot that he was using, but I guess right from the get-go, he did trap his probe on the outside, so, you know, the cannon rush got going a little bit slower than he wanted it to, and because of that, some of his cannons were a bit more conservatively placed. We've got to remember, he didn't actually kill the hatchery on the natural of Rex. He still had a good transition, nice adept follow-up harass, but could have gone a bit better for him. Now that he's on Cosmic Sapphire, I don't think it's a bad map for Protoss, but yeah, it's just tough with the way it goes. If you lose your map pick, it definitely can feel really rough.
Yeah, certainly, but we'll see how he goes with this Stargate choice here. Perhaps some oracles could turn the tide in his favor, get some scouting in as well. And I do wonder if Rex is going to be content to play a more reactive style, sort of, you know, your normal macro Zerg and just keep tabs on what ButAlways is doing and react accordingly, or if he wants to be the one to dictate the pace of the game. Because once things heated up in game 1, he was certainly the one owning the map. He was in the face of the Protoss, constantly trying to find ways to do damage, and that seemed to be where ButAlways fell apart. So yeah, I guess with this Oracle, we'll see if we can nab any drone kills.
Looks like he wants a very early third base, already setting up the nice pylon placement with the Adept wedge between that and the Gas Geyser. Oracle popping out at a nice crisp timing as well, and 3-minute 30 third base. Oof, holy economy, Batman, that is beautiful.
Yeah. Does love to be powered up for those mid to late game pushes. So Rex, of course, has scouted this. He's got the Ling out on the field. He's already pushing the creep out. A couple of Overlords on the map as well. But look at that, already positioning the Queens to welcome the Oracle to the main base.
You see when those drones start. So drones take 12 seconds to build. So a nice trick here is you fly away and come back like just as they're popping. Especially if you threaten the natural or the main and try to get the queens out of position for it. But Rex is just perfect. Rex is just perfect. Yeah, that's beautiful. Really well done.
Yeah,
Ain't
nice
nothing
try,
happening.
nerd. Not kidding here.
I mean, he built a lot of queens and spores, so obviously, like, at least he's not losing hit points on the Oracle. This is actually, like, not bad. I think a lot of lower level players, they try to force it. Is that stasis on the natural? Ooh, okay. Oh, you gotta send someone to set that off. There we go. Rex dealing with it very calmly. Yeah, a lot of people, they think, like, harassment, you've got to go do damage. They're always like, how much damage do I need to do? And the thing is, if your opponent has built the requisite defense, then that's it. Like, you just don't commit, right? You just, like, go, okay, I made you build those fighting things that aren't economy things. They're not upgrades, right? And you back off, and you look for an undefended angle. And that's something the best players in the world are really good at recognizing, you know, what's good, what's a bad fight, and committing only when they really should be doing so. Now, Great Wall off on the left side makes me think ButAlways may be opting for a super quick fourth base after this as well.
Yeah, certainly seems to be thinking about powering the economy, just using these oracles defensively for a moment here. And obviously those are handy vision as the game progresses too. And Rex already heading for his fourth, and we see that he's sticking with this melee style that we've seen a little bit lately. +1, very close to finishing. We're seeing that Baneling Nest come in here as well.
Looks like Hydra Bane play here. Templar Archives goes down for ButAlways, and usually it's very defensive Stalker Storm, is the kind of very European style right now. Weird to see ButAlways, though, play Stalker Storm, because it is so defensive. It's hard to push with just Blink and Psystorm. He could just go Arc on charge in the follow-up, though. Use it more as like a run-by style and the Stalkers push on the front. Either way, though, if he wants to play a long game, he will need to get a move on that fourth base. I know it's only 6 minutes. That sounds ridiculous, but with the way they're both playing, it's an economic arms race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not a whole lot has happened. They've sent a unit here, unit there, but it's all been about making probes, making drones, getting those bases up. But at least for Rex, he has started to make some units here. He's got some more lings on the way. Hydra Den is getting close as well.
He must have like 80 lings at least. Oh my god, he's going up to like 70.
Yeah.
He's hiding them. Oh, the Oracle sees it.
Oh, okay. Secret's out.
All right, get those Stalkers wedged in the mineral line. Like, morph an Archon right now. This is, oh, wait, there's so many lings. But wait, Rex isn't pushing. What is, this is so bizarre. I think Rex thought ButAlways was going to do some sort of all-in, because he's way behind on economy now. Rex has just massed Zerglings. Gave up the opportunity. He could be at 80, 90 drones instead. A massive army, and he's not really being active with it. So I think ButAlways has the edge.
Yeah, well, at least now he can start knocking down some rocks and opening the map up a little bit more. But yeah, for sure, it looked like he was either ready to defend or ready to jump in there and try and get some damage of his own done. So we saw him hold down the drone key there for a little bit and whack out an extra 12 or so. Just get some mining on that fourth base and all the extra upgrades rolling in. Now we see the Hydra range, the Baneling speed. And it's going to be able to round out his composition when they do actually fight.
Oh, you can't let him take those rocks down for free. Uh-oh. Now he's going to try and turtle with Stalker Storm. There's going to be a massive Hydra Bane bust, and he needs to have at least 8 High Templar banking Storm energy. I think he's got 3 or 4 right now. This is not enough High Templar. And this is a big mistake a lot of players make with this style, where they just like, cool, I have 2 Psystorms. And like the Bane player just splits their units, the Storms whiff, and it's game over. So we've seen way too many players try to rush the carriers and not have enough High Templar cannons or batteries. Right now, there is a giant Zerg army cascading across the map. Banelings are morphing. I don't see a lot of Archons. I don't see a lot of High Templar. I see a lot of upgrades, a lot of tech. ButAlways is being way too greedy right now.
And ButAlways is just kind of sitting in this back pocket here and not venturing out too much. We've got these Zealots coming in on the left side, but Rex saw those pretty quick and is going to try and make short work of them here. I guess if nothing else, ButAlways double confirms what the composition is, but Rex is now moving forward aggressively down this pathway that he opened up. He's morphing some more Banes and spreading out. He's ready to come in. There's one Storm
That's
done.
what I'm talking about. It killed a Baneling. That's it. One Storm gone. Oh no! The High High Templar! Two of them go down. Luckily for Survive, he's still got some storms. The wall on the left side starting to get torn down. Such a scary situation. The Banelings are spread. The Hydralink Bane gets on top. Still, the High Templar survive, but just barely deep in the red. The Lingbane Hydra onslaught is here. It is cascading on forwards. The Archon High Templar Stalker struggling to defend.
He's run out of space to micro away from it, so he is forced to fight, but luckily enough, there's not quite enough Zergling cannon fodder there to close that out. And now he's got the shield batteries as well on the right-hand side to help out. More Banelings morphing, more Lings on the way. We've seen
Zealots in the top distracted as well through this, so that's why he's pulled back. But those Banelings could still do big damage. Oh no!
Oh man, 10 workers. That last Bane really got its money's worth, and it looks like those Zealots are now cleaned up. We saw Rex make some extra drones to make up for whatever he lost in there, but he's now ready for another attack. More and more Lings coming out. We'll see another Bane morph. The creep is starting to get pushed forward down this lane as well.
The problem is the lack of storm energy. Even after the first wave, the Zerg army comes, it's just as strong as the first time. The Protoss does not have as much Psy Storm banked up this time around, and that's what makes things scary. On the other hand, where are the Banelings? Rex was on a smaller income, a smaller economy, and this Archon Storm army is quite scary. Carriers are now on the way. There's lots of cannons that are doing very well right now. Psystorm zoning units out really well. Great spreads from Rex, though. He's not taking any giant storms.
And Rex is also poking at the wall down on the lower left and up towards the top right. Oh, those storms. Okay, not too bad. He does actually get some value on those, but Rex is trying to chew any hole he can in the defenses of ButAlways while keeping this pressure up. The Queens are now here too. That's a fair amount of Archons, but he's going for it.
The High Templar do not have storms yet. The Archons are going to tank that. With battery overcharge, you can't get through that. There's no way. The stasis trap kind of holding him back. Otherwise, I think he might jump on top. These Zealots are going to tear up the economy of Rex. Rex went up to 93 drones, but that means the Zealots, the Storm, oh my god! Absolute massacre! He was looking at home for the Zealot run-bys. He's losing a lot of drones right now, but ButAlways absolutely slaying it. I said he was being too greedy. He says, shut up, Caster Pig, you know nothing. This was the knife's edge of perfection, and I have to say it was. ButAlways showing how to wall off and defend this map like a champ.
GG, we have a series now, ButAlways evening up the score to the 1-1. He is not going down without a fight against Rex, despite how favored the stats might be towards our Zerg player. Really nice one from ButAlways, just powered up, let Rex come at him, and he chose his moment.
Yeah, not much disruption from Rex whatsoever, and also massively overbuilding Zerglings early on, so I do think a little passive from Rex, and, you know, so used to playing ButAlways and Hass and having to deal with crazy cheeses. Sometimes I would like to see Rex throw a bit more of a disruption in for his opponent. There's been some seasons where he brought out some nasty, like, Proxy Hatch cheeses and Fling Floods and stuff. I would like to see him mix at least one of those into this best of 5 to keep ButAlways on his toes, because that was a real fragile build that ButAlways did, right? Just taking the third at 3 minutes 30 off 2 Adepts, getting out just 2 Oracles, straight into a 4th base off a handful of Stalkers, straight into like mass Psystorm. And, you know, it's definitely a build order that's very bare bones on the unit count. And, I mean, he held off very well, and the wall-offs were great, but I think Rex, having seen this now, is going to be a bit more wary that ButAlways can play such a big defensive macro game.
For sure. ButAlways did quite a good job at keeping those Templar alive as well, despite the attempts from Rex to try and get the Banelings on top. He never quite got rid of them all. And then, you know, one false move, look away for a second to the Zealot run by, and that is your whole army deleted, because none of that is very beefy. It's glass cannon, as you were saying earlier. So really well done from ButAlways to close that one out, and hopefully that gives him a little bit of relief, right? It's always a little bit rougher if your opponent's on match point and now you got to win 3 in a row or something to come back in the best of 5. And much like our last region, folks, this is a lower bracket match, so they're fighting to keep playing in this tournament.
Yeah, elimination matches to start off both of our 2 regions that me and you are casting today. So yeah, it's fighting for their life. They both only got 2 lives left. Essentially, it comes down to what is, you know, you can imagine they've just started the fresh best of 3, essentially, from this point onwards. And that is going to be exciting to see how they play. Like I said, ButAlways is showing a very good way of switching to be the defender, the macro player, and absorb Rex's mid-game punches. I think this is very intelligent. Rex is clearly wanting to just defend the Protoss aggression and then win in the mid game. He has not shown that he wants to go Hive Tech, Brood Lords, anything like that, even when Nice was super turtle versus him. And so mixing it up and saying, okay, I'm known as a cheeser, let's play a big macro defense style, another perfect map for it. Let's see what he can bring out in the bottom left side of the map in the red. A cheesy Protoss with a surprising amount of range in the macro game. It is ButAlways. Rex going for that trademark third, by the way, to avoid the cannon rush containing it.
And over here in the top right in the blue, this is our Zerg player, Onside Gaming's Rex.
He's being cannon rushed more than any other Zerg in the world. Playing a region with Haas and ButAlways, I'm telling you. He's got some calluses on his mind from the many times he has had disgusting build orders inflicted on him.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Yes, he's certainly well versed in that nonsense and he wants none of it. So he's going to go straight for that third base hatch. And we'll see where we go from here. Last time we saw Rex on this map, I think he played a fairly sort of defensive Roachbane kind of composition up against... I think it was another funky one from Haas who was sort of spamming zealots at him and whatnot. But yeah, this map does tend to make way for some longer games.
Yeah, it's funny because he had polar opposite games, right? Nice, just turtled all game, didn't move out and just set up in his choke points with like, I think he had disruptors as well, but he definitely had like Archons and Storm and Immortals and everything. So like it was just... Yeah, I think it was Disruptor, Archon, Immortal, and very hard army to break. And then Haas was just trying to kill him with Zealots, as you said, and he defended it really, really well. But nice snipe on the probe. Well done for Rex. That's a very good start for him. Stargate and Adept, so standard looking opening for ButAlways. You can't wall off with a single gateway on this map, so he's going to have to build an extra structure in the wall to finish that, which means he can't go for a 3-minute 30 third Nexus. Just a small note, so, you know, that opening from the last game is probably off the cards.
We may yet see another economic game though. Rex, I've come to expect that he won't take much damage in the early game, if any at all, especially not from the Stargate. As we've spoken about and as we've seen demonstrated, he's really good with defending against that with the Queens and his positioning. He's always there ahead of time, so hopefully that can continue and he can get a stronger start to this game. And maybe this time, you know, just keeping on top of that information. Last time seemed like he lost track of what ButAlways was actually about to do.
Pylon's already ready to create the choke point along with the... Actually, it won't create a choke point, that one, but he can use the mineral line. Nexus will go down. You can see it's about 15 seconds late because that extra gateway had to go down in the wall off. But otherwise, it's essentially the same build order, just with the second gateway slightly earlier.
Yeah, so a bit of a gentleman's agreement so far to just power up that economy, get those drones, get those probes. Oracle's going to come have a look-see for some friends, but lo and behold, there's some queens. How about that?
How about that? Yeah, doesn't find much, but hey, the quick turnaround, very cute.
Whoa.
Like I said last game, like it's often like you fly through, you don't find anything, you kind of force the queens to like go to certain areas, and then maybe you grab a drone or two on the way out, and that's as long as you don't take damage, you're very happy with that.
Yeah, really nicely done.
It's a lot of lings and a quick roach horn. I'm sensing Rex wants to go kill. He's got a lot of creep forward in the middle, and he built the front hatchery. He's going to queen walk. Yeah, I think he's going to queen roach walk. Oh, dirty build coming out of Rex. I like it. Remember I said I want him to mix it up with something aggressive at least one game.
He heard ya. I think he's maybe not keen to let ButAlways get away with that super economic opening once again. And that creep spread is headed in a beeline towards that third base as well. The lings are going to come in now and see if they can start shaking things up.
No, those adepts are out in the open there. He needs to pull that one behind the minerals. The shield battery's going to go down. He's trying to go down and defend it. Roach is coming out behind this. No doubt Queens can walk across as well. The Oracles did not realize what was going on when they were on the other side of the map. That one does turn on the laser beam, helps out. And can it save the Stalker? No, the Stalker barely goes down. Good trades for Rex. The queen's coming. 6 queens! My god, that's way more than you even need. You know, we don't see this move anymore because they can't transfuse off creep, and everyone's like, well, that's killed the build. But no one has 5 Void Rays anymore. People have 1 or 2 Oracles with barely any energy. Even just 3 queens will absolutely annihilate them. And this is his first warning. The Zerglings did such a good job of keeping the Oracle at home. ButAlways, oh no, he's trying to full wall off his base to buy himself a second, but he's got no units.
And there's Ravagers too on top of the Lings. The wall really doesn't stand a chance, so he gets maybe 3 extra seconds here. The Lings are going to try and get on top of these Stalkers and prevent them from retreating back into the wall. Looks like they're going to make it though, but with these Ravagers and these Roaches right on top of it, he's going to go for the pylon, he's going to go for the units in the wall, and it's too much. Rex is going to take a swift victory on the 3rd map.
Instantly fully saturating 3 bases. Going for Blink +1, both gases on the natural up to 4 gas. The Oracle's fully focused on harassment rather than scouting or defending. You can't let him get away with that 2 games in a row. And Rex absolutely knew he wasn't going to do it after what, because that's what he did in the previous game. And he was like, wait a second, this is way too greedy. Says, no. You try that again, you're going to die. And what a simple way to get a victory, because as we said, ButAlways is normally a more aggressive, you know, if not cheesy player. For him to play a macro game like this, he's cutting corners. He's not completely safe at every moment to get into that greedy, beautiful position at 7 or 8 minutes. It's him basically saying, cool, you're not attacking, I'm just going to take a third, get these wall-offs up. All of his production is in the wall of his 3rd base. I mean, think about just how greedy that is as a concept.
Yeah, Rex correctly identifying what was going on there and taking advantage. I mean, I feel like he's had a couple of games now to read what ButAlways' general plan seems to be, and he turned it on his head there. So very well done from Rex. That puts him on match point, actually. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll see if Rex can close it out with a 3-1 or if ButAlways still has some fight left in him. Don't go away. Hello esports fans, we're back once again. We have Rex, our Zerg player, our lone Zerg hero in the Taiwanese region. Everyone else is a Protoss. He's on match point against ButAlways, who has been able to make him bleed in one game, but is going to have to do it twice more to close this series out and stay alive in this tournament. Pig, we should be heading into Inside and Out for map number 4. Does ButAlways still have some tricks to make this happen? I'm a little concerned.
After that last game, and you're like, okay, my Mega Greed just got counted. Now, if you're a standard macro player, what do you do here as the Protoss? You're like, okay, we'll scout a bit better. We'll make sure the Oracle checks the drone count. Okay. Because where he wasn't scouting was the natural. The natural was effectively the third base. And that's where you need to go. Oh, there's no drones here, right? So there's two things. The front hatchery, not only does Rex just do that a lot to avoid getting cannoned in, it gives him a creep highway that starts further forward. And you think you're scouting the third and there's lots of drones on it, and you kind of forget, wait, this is actually the second base. The third's tucked in the back. It's harder to scout. And bam, that attack just explodes out of nowhere. So a normal Protoss player, macro player is like, okay, we're going to scout a bit better, adjust the Oracle, that sort of thing. ButAlways is just kind of, he's looking at he's got a diagram poster sized on the wall with each map, and he's got the cannon spots all marked out and the proxy locations, and he's studying those and deciding which cannon rush and or proxy he's going to go for in the next map.
Exactly. It's got like one of those crazy like serial killer looking walls with all the
yes.
yeah I gotcha. Yeah, I feel you on that one. I like, that's got to be the answer, right? You got to upset him early, because if you let him play his game, it's just not going to happen for you. Like ButAlways only got to execute his plan once too. It was just like once, and he's like, okay, I see what you're doing, not going to happen again. So yeah, I do hope that ButAlways can get something going here, because he is a fantastic Protoss player. He's been in the top 4 quite a few times. He's certainly won in the past, but it's been a long time between drinks for that. But yeah, he's usually in the top 4 of these sort of DreamHack qualifiers, and he is due for a win, but it's just such a tough ask. Usually it's the Protosses that I think are giving him the most grief, but with Rex leveling up, it just makes it that little bit harder.
Yeah, Rex has now added a very intelligent piece to his series. I mean, I was talking about he's a bit addicted to Ravager Bane. Swap to Hydraling Bane on a map where you can open some big, wider paths. And the thing is, yeah, he was a little behind. Yes, the defense was very solid. He wasn't quite able to get in there. But still, a mix-up of the stars. And then he goes for the big, surprising Queen Walk, just kill move. But this really, he's giving a lot of looks. A lot of things for the Protoss player to adapt and react to. And you don't want to deal with that. You want to be the guy who just does a sneaky trick and surprises his opponent to being put in deep water. You're on your last life. You got to make it count. It's now or never for the Protoss player. He's in the bottom left side of the map in the red. It is ButAlways.
And in the top right from Onside Gaming, he is the blue Zerg on match point, looking to close it out. This is Rex.
Hatch gas pool on the third base again. Now, you actually have a pretty quick path if you break the rocks down for a Queen Walk here as well. And, you know, it's not a bad build order, especially like Rex went so many Queens in that last game. I really feel like the Queens don't add much other than just stopping like 2 full energy Oracles or a single Void Ray stopping your whole push, right? So I actually really think the like 3 Queen Walk is super underrated. Something to keep in mind, as ButAlways does go for the Nexus Cybercore standard opening for him so far. No signs of a cannon rush. Not getting impatient. This map's actually amazing for cannon spots behind the natural. Shame Rex is, you know, being cannoned so many times. His default mode is to just take his third.
I know. You'd have to be, if you're ButAlways, you're like, oh, maybe do I just cannon the third? I mean, this guy's not giving me the chance to do the nat.
That's like the funny thing is you want to do that so badly. But the thing is like, Rex is like, oh, sweet, I get to cancel it and take my natural.
Yeah, exactly. Like... You can't win.
Stargate will be going down, but always opening up in a similar vein. I think he's going to open Void Ray first this game, though. I'm guessing Void Ray first. Come on. That'd be cool. Deny the vision. Put Rex in the dark a little bit more. Bit more control over what's going on. Now he's chronoed one Adept, sending it across. No second chrono on the Adepts. Chronoing the probes. So yeah, very economic opening for ButAlways. This is the modern PVZ. It's funny because even Nice going to the season, I was like, other players chrono probes. Nice chronos his Adepts 3 times, his Oracles 2 times, and never stops the aggression.
Yeah.
First game I cast of him, he chronos probes like 7 times and none on the Adepts. I'm like, okay, nope, he's also adapting to like all the Protoss are trying to outgreed the Zerg in the early game at the moment.
Well, your Void Ray dreams have been crushed. I'm sorry, but we're getting an Oracle here, as we've seen a zillion times before. It's just such a nice opener for Protoss, and ButAlways not looking to deviate here. He's got this probe already packing a pylon down at the 3rd base.
Yeah, Oracle, Pylon, second gate in the wall for the natural as well. It's a very tight opening. Second Oracle starts up immediately. I mean, the fact that he's got the second Oracle already started, and then he can drop the 3rd here. Non-stop probe production. He sees a couple lings, but it's only a couple. Nothing to worry about. Oh, can he get shade through? Oh, if he mineral walked through the Adept, he might have been able to keep it alive. That's a good delay. Costs 1 or 2 lings, plays the base, but the Oracle does answer and says, okay, if you're going to micro that, I will punish you.
Nice. Gets himself 1 drone kill at the very least in revenge for his fallen probe friend there. The Queen's now, though, well and truly in position to push those Oracles away, and he is, again, going up to 6 Queens here. We've got some Spores coming in as well. And the first Evo Chamber has come down.
Well, Evo Chamber already assigned that he doesn't really want a Queen Roach Walk. It's usually melee. Could be Ravager Bane, could be Hydra Bane. He did show he likes to open up with quite a lot of Zerglings to try and pressure the 3rd when he's going into the Hydras, but lots of options available. Handful of Lings on the way up against the Twilight Forge. 4 gases, but he's already got a lot of gateways. So that's interesting. So even though ButAlways gets the gases on the natural, he's got 5 gates on the way. It feels like ButAlways wants to do a big Blink Stalker push.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly pulled that out before, but we're going for the melee. Okay, melee upgrades. We've got Banes on the way too, and we're still pumping drones this time, so nothing coming at him too early. More just a poke at this 3rd base, see if he can get it cancelled, pick off anything that's not got a friend. Maybe a couple of probes here, actually, as well as this Adept.
Oh, those Stalkers. I don't know about that. Those are expensive units to be losing this early. Blink is not ready. The Oracles will get back, but losing 2 Stalkers like that, very costly maneuver, and nice pullback by Rex. Just forces the energy to be turned on. ButAlways is still probing up, but he's up on 5 gateways. A few more coming up soon to be, I guess, 6 or 7 even. He could go for a big attack off this, but against pure Zergling, creep spread, the just like perfect economy amount for Rex. Rex is not over droning. He's massing Lings, and it forces ButAlways to go into a longer game. Templar Archives is on the way. Lings massing up on the front. Still very dangerous. He can't be out in the open. Blink's not quite ready.
Yeah, he smelt an opportunity after that initial poke, and these Stalkers aren't going to fare very well against these Lings at all. The +1 isn't here yet, thankfully, but he is going to chew down a few units and head back out of there. Sim City helping ButAlways a little bit there as well.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, you know. A lot of Lings went down for only 1 or 2 extra Stalkers. The thing is, like, the trading rate that's preferential for Stalkers versus Zerglings, you're like, I will trade 1 Stalker for 14 Zerglings. Like, that's the only trade a Protoss player wants to do, because you need all your units together to be strong. You can't just be trading out them a few at a time, because Zerg like small skirmishes. They can reproduce so easily, but for Protoss, you want to build a big, massive units where you've got the splash damage and all the supporting pieces. That's when the power grows. Baneling's trying to roll in towards here at the front. Of weird play by Rex right now. He's got a lot of drones on the 4th. Ling Bane comes in. These Stalkers could be blinked back, but not watching. But always a little slow to react here. Very crazy Ling Bane attack coming in. The Stalkers will block that. Battery overcharge will hold on. The cannon goes down, but an oddball attack here for Rex. He does get deflected for now. ButAlways has got Storm on the way, but his gas is on the 3rd, only now being taken. Definitely want to see him try to get out to a 4th base. His gas on the 3rd base is actually kind of blocked by his buildings. He can't mine that very easily, so he's skipping it. More Zerglings coming in. It's non-stop. We need to see more Oracles here. He's out of energy after this. If we don't see more oracles, he's going to get swamped.
Yeah, absolutely. I am sort of getting some
The changeling in his
flashbacks.
ramp is blocking him right now. ButAlways can't leave his
You're
base. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, but always, please. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Might be, yeah, just in time to ward away those lings. And
Uh-oh.
oh, that's a lot of banelings going in here.
Oh,
he's
the
all
split, the
clogged up.
split.
No, oh my gosh, he's gonna lose so many of these. Maybe.
Oh my god! Ah, what is happening? What is going on?
Oh my gosh, that could have been so much worse. But
Oh my
wow,
gosh.
okay.
But always surviving. Is it enough? I don't know. The supply looks okay for him. Going into Hydra Bane now is Rex. Rex playing a weird style. He's just non-stop momentum. I wouldn't mind him trying to break that wall on the left with a pack of Zerglings as well. He's keeping ButAlways off of 4th base while getting a 5th, a 2nd Evo, a Hive, and a Hydra Den. He's going to be able to play Pureling Bane into Lurker. And not a transition you see every day, but like it's actually really powerful.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm almost getting flashbacks from like Mia vs Ranger, where he's just like throwing stuff at him nonstop. But the difference is Rex expanding a ton, going up the tech tree, and it's just pinning ButAlways back. He hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to come across the map, and when he does, it's usually just the couple of oracles there for a visit, getting some vision, getting some scouting. I think he sees the infestation pit there.
Fleet Beacon is on the way, so thinking maybe about like a Broodlord swap or something coming out of Rex. It's very early to be teching into the Fleet Beacon, but this is what he did successfully on Cosmic Sapphire. In the bottom right, he catches a bunch of Zerglings with a blink forward. Very well done. Hydra is going to be coming on out. Those Hydra upgrades coming forth as well. I don't think we saw the Lurker Den. It's only starting now, so Hive's done, but can't start the Lurker upgrades for at least a little bit. Stalker's picking off a few Hydras. Not bad, not bad.
Ooh, big stasis trap there. These stalkers still have to run away from the mass amount of lings here, though. Lings chewing down the gateway a little bit as well.
Watch
They're
out for Storm.
yeah, poking wherever they can, but it can be a little bit dicey. With this creep spread, though, down here, the rush distance from Rex's base down to this base of ButAlways is actually obscenely short. Like, you just got a nice little creep highway, and all these units can sort of sit here. He finds these zealots on the right hand side here before they can be too much of an issue. Probably needs a bit of backup there, though.
Those Hydras literally stepping out onto their front porch and throwing rocks, smashing the windows of ButAlways' house. ButAlways not happy about that at all. The Ling Bane does come in. They should be able to defend those zealots on the right very efficiently. Very good fight there for Rex. And that really pulls things back to the left side. That's a lot of Psystorm. I mean, I was talking about not enough Psystorm on Cosmic, and he made it work. This time, he has an abundance of Psystorms. Stalkers blink to that side. Storm will push back the army.
Queen's helping out where they can here as well. There's actually not that much Zerg left on the front lines. Storm's still coming down too, so...
Oh, my.
Oh, Rex is going to try and run in here.
Archon trying to do what it can. The probes are going to split to the left, but no, those Banes are on top of him. 20 probes go down just like that. And the Archon does take some nice efficient trades there, cleaning up a lot of the Zerglings. They try to finish off the Archon, and they do get rid of it. But now the left side's a little open. Oh, Storm say hello, little Zerglings. How do you like that?
I don't think they like that at all. And we do have a bunch more lings in production, but we're getting towards the time when lurkers might start becoming a factor as well. And we've got Adrenal finishing on those lings too, so that's going to get even more annoying for ButAlways to deal with. However, he is now thinking about that carrier production.
No Robo. You just can't even build observers. It's such a streamlined style, the modern PvZ with just Twilight into Stargate, or Stargate into Twilight and back into Stargate. It's really awesome. You just lack detection. All you've got is the Oracle tag, so the creep can't be cleared. And this means Rex has got ButAlways just pinned in a corner. The lurkers are here. You said they'd be a problem. That's more than a problem. That's a disaster, I think, Zeph. Storm cannot deal with lurkers. Oh, they immediately unburrow some good storms, but transfuses are there, and High Templar just cannot deal with it. It takes so much time sitting in Storm for lurkers to actually die, and you can see how good those 10 range lurkers are.
Yeah, there's like one cannon there providing a small ray of hope, but then it was taken out. So he's just sort of stuck here trying to find a way to move forward and attack, but the lurkers are now spread out as well. So one storm or two storms is not going to cut it. He's using the air here as a backup. That Nexus is going to go down. Storm on the high, just storming the Lurkers and Queens, but they're still surviving pretty well. Does he have enough to take this out? The Lurkers do survive. The Nexus goes down and more Lurkers burrow forwards towards the meat of ButAlways' base. His hands are off the keyboard.
A relentless assault, just start to finish. Rex. Remember, even in game one, it looked like ButAlways almost had that, but Rex was just all over him.